there, welcome to Siasat TV. It is Tuesday, April 27, 2021. I am Sumayya Junaid Ahmed in Hyderabad, where we get you all the big news stories of the day from across India and the world. And here is our top headlines. In a span of 24 hours, India reported 3,23,000 fresh COVID-19 cases and 2,771 deaths. Election Commission bans victory procession over poll results. Over 1,000 COVID deaths missing in Delhi, data reveals civic records. No stretcher COVID patient biked out of Jharkhand hospital ward. India was there for US, says United States President Joe Biden after a phone call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a span of 24 hours, Telangana reported 10,122 new positive cases and 52 fatalities. In Telangana, summer vacations for schools and colleges begins today. European Union sues AstraZeneca over alleged failure to supply COVID-19 vaccines. Let us begin with our top story. India today lodged over 3,23,000 new COVID-19 cases, 8.4 less than yesterday, and 2,771 deaths in the last 24 hours. This is the sixth straight day that over 3 lakh cases have been recorded in India. The fresh COVID surge takes the country's total caseload to over 1.76 crore. Monday's death have taken the total fatalities to 1,97,894 after Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Delhi have the most infections. Maharashtra reported 48,700 cases of COVID even as Mumbai recorded a drop. Several other cities in the state continues to have high caseload despite restrictions. Moving on to our next story, the Election Commission of India has banned all victory processions on the day or even after that counting of votes polled on 5 states in the past few weeks amid COVID-19 surge. Legislative Assembly polls were scheduled in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Assam and Puducherry in 8 phases, beginning from 27th of March and ending on 29th of April. The counting of votes will take place on 2nd of May. Coming amid a second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, the poll panel had laid down protocols for contesting parties and leaders to follow to minimize the spread of infections. The rules were, however, mostly observed only in breach of most political outfits and their contestants, with huge rallies and marches setting social distance for a toss. The second wave has meanwhile intensified the ferocity, making way for suggestion that elections have turned into COVID catalysts. Aerial photographs of crematorium in Delhi, innumerable pyres in row that even landed to and front pages of foreign publications have been indicating since the last week of the actual number of deaths from COVID might be different from official figures. After visiting the city's civic body and 7 crematorium ground, at least 1,150 deaths did not make it to the list of official COVID list. Data collected from Municipal Corporation of Delhi for 26 crematorium in run shows that 3,096 crematorium of COVID victims were conducted between 18th of April and 24th of April. The total figure of COVID deaths released by the Delhi government in the same period show 1,938 deaths, indicating that 1,158 COVID deaths in Delhi may have gone uncounted. MCD counts as COVID deaths only the bodies that brought from hospitals. The reasons for mismatch is the data with officials figure is not yet known. The first oxygen express train for Delhi carrying around 70 tons of life-saving gas reached the national capital early Tuesday morning. This oxygen will now be dispersed by the Delhi government to various hospitals. Earlier, the railways had said that it has chalked out plans to transport medical oxygen from Angul, Kalingnagar, Rourkela and Raigad to Delhi and NCR regions. However, there is no information of the second train to the capital city. Officials said that Delhi government has to arrange road tankers to move the oxygen to the hospitals. Delhi recorded the highest single-day rise in COVID-19 deaths count, with 380 more people dying due to the infections on Monday, while the positivity rate stood at over 35%. There is a shocking story from Palamu in Jharkhand, where a COVID positive patient was brought inside the COVID ward on a scooter since there was no stretchers available. This is another story of crumbling medical infrastructure, desperate relatives resorting to all means as families are left to fend themselves. Those are visuals of patient brought inside a COVID ward on a scooter because there were no stretchers. Clearly you can see
There is a patient who cannot walk and is not in a condition to walk, and therefore the family members they are helping out to bring him inside the COVID ward on a scooter. Australia today announced a temporary ban on direct passenger flights from India as South Asian nations grapple with massive surge in coronavirus infections.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the suspension would remain in place until least of 15th May due to clearly present risk to travel from India, leaving thousands of Australians, including high-profile cricketers, stranded. It follows similar moves by countries including Canada, the United Arab Emirates and Britain to halt or restrict flights in response to the spiraling COVID crisis.
Has only listed India. The Chief Medical Officer has worked through all the countries, and while when you go to a red list like they have in the United Kingdom, remember in the United Kingdom, this is about where they restrict entry into the country just for citizens. So they currently allow travel into the United Kingdom for non-citizens. And so the red list, as I understand it, applies to where they restrict it to citizens. Now, Australia already has that in place for every country in the world. You can't come to Australia, you can't do that unless there's a specific exemption which is granted by the Border Force Commissioner for any number of quite specific purposes. And so India is the only country of major point of embarkation into Australia that has been identified as a risk at this point, at that level. They've looked across a range of other countries. It wasn't that long ago that we were having serious concerns about Papua New Guinea, and what we've seen as a result of the pause we put in place for arrivals out of Papua New Guinea into Queensland is we've seen the proportion of cases of Papua New Guinea originated infections drop significantly. And that has meant that the system in Queensland has had the stress come off it from the Papua New Guinean arrivals, and that's proved to be very.
And after Karnataka government announced a 14-day curfew in the state amid raging pandemic, a long queues was seen outside a liquor shop in Bengaluru. Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa in a press conference on Monday said that all commercial activities will remain prohibited, much like the weekend curfew in the state. Only essential services will be allowed between 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. Public transport will also remain shut during this lockdown. The state recorded 34,804 COVID-19 cases on Sunday. It is the highest ever single day count. Karnataka has 2.62 lakh active cases, only behind Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. And a couple in Madhya Pradesh were married in PPE suit on Monday after the groom tested positive for the COVID. A video shows the bride, groom and 3 others in full protective suits as the wedding ceremony held in Ratlam. Chants of Pheras can be heard in background as the couple goes round the fire. Gatherings for social and religious purposes have been restricted in Madhya Pradesh and several states across India to slow the spread of COVID. The state has limited the number of people at weddings to 50. It is time people start wearing masks inside their homes as well, advised Member of Health and Niti Aayog Dr. V.K. Paul on Monday while addressing a press conference in Delhi over second wave of COVID-19. Mr. Paul said, in this COVID-19 situation, please don't go out unnecessarily and even within the family wear a mask. It's very important to wear a mask.
कि उसको बहुत ज़रूरी है कि वो मास्क पहने क्योंकि वो फेंक रहा है वायरस बाकियों को। और बल्कि अब मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि सीधा टाइम आ गया है कि घर में हम वैसे ही अब मास्क पहनना शुरू करें। हम बाहर की बात करते थे, लेकिन संक्रमण जैसे है ज़्यादा है तो घर में भी बाई चांस किसी को आ गया है तो जहाँ तक हो के घर में भी जब हम किसी के साथ बैठे हैं तो मास्क लगाएं तो फ़ायदा है। लेकिन डेफिनेटली अगर कोई पॉजिटिव है उसको भी मास्क लगाना है, बाकियों को भी लगाना है, उसको दूसरे कमरों में रखना है। और अगर घर में ऐसी व्यवस्था की कमी है तो इतने आइसोलेशन केयर बेड्स बने हुए हैं, उनको हम कोरोना केयर सेंटर्स कहते हैं, या आइसोलेशन बेड्स हैं इसी तरह की मदद करने के लिए। बाहर ये जो क्वारंटाइन आइसोलेशन होती है घरों में नहीं होती थी, ये देश हमारे ने ही करके दिखाया और अच्छा फायदा हुआ। लेकिन जो ये जगह पड़ी हुई हैं हमारे पास उनका भी इस्तेमाल करिए, ये भी मेरी अपील होगी कि जहाँ भी ये सुविधा में मुश्किल है तो सिर्फ अस्पताल मत ढूंढिए कि जिसमें सब कुछ है, ये आईसीयू में सीधा जाना है। ये हमारी व्यवस्था में हिस्सा है जिसको हम कोरोना केयर सेंटर्स कहते हैं या सीसीसीज कहते हैं। वहाँ उन व्यवस्थाओं को भी जोड़िए और मैं विनती करूँगा राज्य सरकारों से कि ये वाला पार्ट है जहाँ की सिर्फ घर जैसी केयर है लेकिन मदद की जा रही है और वॉच किया जा रहा है उसको।
India was there for American people in their hour of need, and United States will be there for country as it meets the worst ever public health crisis, United States President Joe Biden said after his phone call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. United States President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke on Monday as the United States administration swung into action to provide assistance to India and its fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Let us shift our focus to Telangana, where COVID cases continue to surge in state. Corona positive cases continue to rise in Telangana. The virus is spreading rapidly day by day, and recently we have also seen Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao and Party President KTR getting contact with the virus. In the past 24 hours, 10,122 positive cases have been reported. The latest outbreak has killed at least 52 people. Newly 6,446 victims have recovered from the virus out of 10,122 positive patients. Last 24 hours, out of 10,122 positive cases in the last 24 hours, 1,440 were reported from Hyderabad GHMC alone. Alright, the daytime temperatures in Hyderabad on Monday increased substantially, with several automatic weather stations recording temperatures over 39 degrees Celsius. The highest temperature recorded was 39.4 degrees Celsius in Nagol, Narayanguda and Jubilee Hills. Over 12 places recorded the maximum temperatures of 39 degrees Celsius.
Several other places saw temperatures ranging between 38.3 and 39 degrees Celsius. The lowest maximum temperatures of 38.3 degrees Celsius was recorded at IS Sedan. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, temperatures are expected to hover around 38 degrees Celsius over the next 3 days, with cloudy skies or couple of spell of rain towards evening. The minimum temperature is expected to be around 25 degrees Celsius in next few days.
Alright, the Telangana government on Sunday announced that summer vacations for schools and colleges in the state will begin from today and will continue till 31st of May. The decision to shut down the educational institution had been taken after reviewing the COVID-19 situation in the state.
The Minister of Education of Telangana, Sabita Indra Reddy, has announced the dates for the summer vacation. The minister said the government will decide on 1st of June when the schools and junior colleges would reopen after reconsidering the COVID situation. The government has also promoted the students of class 1st to class 10th to their next classes without exams.
Moving on to our international news, the European Union has launched a legal action against AstraZeneca over pharmaceutical giant's alleged failure to respect the contract for supplying COVID-19 vaccine to the bloc.
The British-Swedish company's vaccine was envisaged and central part of Europe's mass immunization campaign and a linchpin in global strategy to get coronavirus vaccines to the poorer countries because it is the cheapest and the easier to use than shots produced by Pfizer and BioNTech and Moderna. But Brussels and the businesses have been at loggerheads over the alleged shortfall of deliveries, a division that has in part hobbed early efforts to roll out jabs within the bloc. European Commission spokesperson Stephen D. Christmaker said the move was to pursue legal action against AstraZeneca was launched last Friday on the basis of breaches of the advance purchase agreement.
Some of the most intense fighting in Myanmar since the country seized power in coup on 1st of February erupted in eastern Myanmar near Thai border early today morning as ethnic minority Karen insurgents attacked an army outpost.
The clash came as the general said they would positively consider suggestions from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which met at a special summit on Saturday. Leaders called for the end to the violence and urged dialogue with the elected government that was overthrown. The Karen National Union said its forces had captured an outpost of Myanmar army close to the border of Thailand after launching an attack just before dawn.
Turks will be required to stay mostly at home under nationwide full lockdown starting on Thursday and lasting until 17th of May to curb the surge in coronavirus infections and deaths. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has announced yesterday Turkey lodged 37,312 new COVID-19 infections and 353 deaths in the previous 24 hours on Monday. Health Ministry data showed sharply down the mid-April but still the world's fourth highest number of cases.
Announcing the new measures on Monday after cabinet meeting, Erdogan said all intercity travel would require official approval, all schools would be shut to move lessons online and strict capacity limit would be imposed for users of public transport. Turks will have to stay indoors except for essential shopping trips and urgent medical treatment. Certain groups including emergency service workers and employees in the food and manufacturing sector will be exempted.
Before we wrap up our bulletin, let's have a look on our headlines.
In a span of 24 hours, India reported 3,23,000 fresh COVID-19 cases and 2,771 deaths. Election Commission bans victory procession over poll results. Over 1,000 COVID deaths missing in Delhi, data reveals civic records. No stretcher COVID patient biked out of Jharkhand hospital ward. India was there for US, says United States President Joe Biden after a phone call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a span of 24 hours, Telangana reported 10,122 new positive cases and 52 fatalities. In Telangana, summer vacations for schools and colleges begins today. European Union sues AstraZeneca over alleged failure to supply COVID-19 vaccines.
Well, that is the Siasat TV English news for this Tuesday. Thanks for watching. I am Sumaya Junaid Ahmed. Have a great day.